My brother's always occupied a special place in my life. He's the one person that's always been there. He's been a big brother, a business partner, a confidant, and a friend. I learned many valuable lessons from him, most from watching what he did. But on occasion, I learned what not to do from watching him. One of those occasions occurred when I was about 5 years old. I'd just gotten a present that I was very proud of. Because I loved all things relating to cowboys, I was given a cowboy rope. And I spent a good part of the day lassoing everything that would stay still long enough. Fence posts were the easiest. They were slender, stayed very still, and offered no resistance. But other objects soon caught my eye, and I would try to rope them. The family pets proved very difficult because they run very, very fast. Soon, I moved on to other things, and that led to my first lesson. Don't try to lasso your big brother, especially if he's bigger and stronger than you, because he's capable of taking that rope away from you and making it disappear. In this case, by throwing it up into a tree. On this particular day, though, I appealed that action to a higher court. Mainly, I told Mother on him. After careful consideration, she rendered her verdict, and that was that he was to get the rope down from the tree, and I was to only lasso inanimate objects in the future. So, my brother and I set out to carry out that decision. The first attempt was for my brother to stand under the tree and jump as high as possible. The second attempt was for him to hold me up and for me to reach as high as possible. Both of those attempts, unfortunately, came up a little bit too short. The next lesson was to use our ingenuity. My brother began looking around, came back to the tree with a hammer, some nails, and some old boards that he found laying around. He then set about to hammering the boards into the tree in such a way as to make a ladder up the side. After several hard minutes of hammering, he declared it finished. He threw down the hammer and began to climb. That all went good up until about the second or third step, and then it came crashing down. Perhaps the wood we'd used was a little bit rotten, or perhaps the nails we'd used were too small to hold his weight, but in any event, he was on the ground. He jumped up, ran back into the house, clutching his side. On the way down, a nail had caught him in the side and ripped a pretty good gash. Mother threw us both in the car and tore out. After dropping me off at a neighbor's, she took my brother to the hospital. Now, I don't remember a lot about that afternoon except that I stood by the door most of the day watching for our car. Finally, late in the afternoon, Mother drove back in, picked me up, and we returned home. My brother sat in the back seat beside me, looking a little bit like a mummy. He was bandaged and wrapped in gauze from his belt line up to his armpits. Although this happened some 60-odd years ago, he suffered no long-term effects from our little adventure, but he does still bear that scar to this day. Once back at the house, we started to go inside. My brother stopped us. He walked over to the side of the house, picked up a garden hoe, walked back out to the tree, and then reaching up with the hoe, he easily hooked the rope, pulled it down, handed it to me, and walked back into the house without a word. So, my final lesson of the day is that sometimes the simplest solutions are the easiest and also the safest. This has been Larry Robinson reminiscing. Until next time, so long.